Good morning. I'm Alan Cantor, a worship associate and member of the Unitarian Universalist Area Church at First Parish in Sherborn. Our opening words this morning from Mary Ann Cotter. Welcome to this place of possibility. This is Love's Hearth, the home of hope, a refuge for minds in search of truth unfolding, ever beautiful, ever strange. Here, compassion is our shelter, freedom, our protection from the storms of bigotry and of hate. In this abode, may we find comfort and courage. Here, may our sight become vision, to see the unseen, to glimpse the good that is yet to be. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Alan. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's our flower communion, both on Zoom and then in person. And I'll have a couple notes about that in a second. You'll notice I have my flower shirt on, which is an important characteristic given where we're at and on the Sunday that we're at. Let's see. So today, obviously, is our sort of last, quote unquote, regular service of this church year. And we have 2 more Sundays after this that will be fully on Zoom. Next Sunday is going to be a service that was put together by the Unitarian Universalist Association earlier this year that we're going to play. India's going to play that. And there'll be a brief time for connection, I believe, after the service via Zoom, but I'm going to confirm that with India. And then also the following Sunday, the last Sunday in June, is we're going to live stream the Sunday morning worship at General Assembly, which is the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly, and that's going to be on the last Sunday in June, and that's always a great one too. And then Sunday, July 4th, there'll be no service at all, and then July 11th. We'll have our tent in place and outdoor worship will begin through July and August. And then all things going to plan, we'll be back in the sanctuary on Sunday, September 12th. Okay. All right, but we're not there yet, are we? Because today is Emily Bruce's last service with us, which is super sad. However, we get to see Emily in person later this afternoon. You'll notice if you see her screen there that she is actually in the Foz room, my friends. The church still exists. It actually exists, and she's there in it. But Emily will be at the church, as will I, as will the entire staff. And our new intern, Jason McClin, you're going to meet in just a moment. So what's going to happen today is that between 12:30 and 2, there's the open fellowship time out on the church lawn. Back in the day, we'd have a church picnic. Now, couple guidelines. This is no potluck. You can still bring food, but it's gonna be for yourself, meaning you don't have to share. How great is that? It's all for yourself. You don't have to share with anybody. Let's see, masks. Our request is that if you're going to be up close with folks and sort of hugging people, I'll talk about hugs in a second, that you will wear a mask. If you're at a distance, if you're eating, obviously, you don't need to wear a mask. That's kind of where we're at with the pandemic right now. Regarding hugs, this is always true, but especially true now. It's like we're this weird liminal space about, proximity and hugging and stuff like that. Just always ask, say, hey, would you like a hug? Can I give you a hug? And then someone says yes, or someone says no. And that's how we're gonna do it, okay? So that's good for all time, but especially now. So yeah, and we'll have music there, maybe like a compilation of this year's soundtracks, which Dara and India have put together, which have been amazing. We'll be a speaker and we'll all be out front. So I hope for those of you that can come, and we're gonna have flowers too. Pick a flower, take a flower. We're gonna drop off a flower and Dara is gonna put some vases out front so you can see that. So that's what's gonna happen today. And I personally look forward to seeing those of you that are gonna be there. Last but not least, so we're saying goodbye to Emily today, and we love you, Emily. You've been just such a constant partner and minister with us and for us this whole time, this whole 2 years. And UUAC is the legacy of being a teaching congregation for interns. Emily, you've been our 6th, and we're about to welcome our 7th. And our 7th is Jason McClin, who India is going to spotlight now for us. And Jason, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And Jason, you will also be there this afternoon too.
Hello. Yes, my name is Jason McClin, and I am thrilled to be the next intern at UUAC. As Reverend Nathan mentioned, word around the campfire among seminarians is that UUAC is this amazing place to be an intern. So I'm pretty stoked. Let's just say. I also, as Nathan mentioned, today is a really big day, as it's Reverend Emily's last sermon, and I feel super honored to be here for that. I know Reverend Emily in a special way because she's a dear friend of my partner, Sophia. So I feel like that's an amazing way to know someone through your loved ones. And it's also through Reverend Emily that I actually found you all. She was the one who introduced me to UUAC. So I suppose to some extent it remains to be seen if you all will be thanking her or not. We'll have to wait on that. But as for, I kid. As for the fall, I know that I certainly am so excited to be there, but I know that there's going to be a lot there. And I just wanted to say that I will be there with you. I come to UAC open and curious and available, and I'm looking forward to that time. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jason. All right, everybody, that's all the announcements we have. And let's just wave to the screen. And then obviously at 12:30, if you're able to come, you can wave in person. All right, and we'll see you in a bit.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear parents? Oh, where are our dear parents? Oh, where are our dear parents? Day is a breaking in my soul. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. Day is a breaking in my soul.
Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Emily Bruce, your outgoing ministerial intern. Happy to be with you today. Please join us in our opening words. I will read the minister part. Alan Cantor will read the people part, and we invite you all to read along with. These are words from the Reverend Victoria Safford. People ask me sometimes, is this a gay church?
Ours is absolutely, hopefully, and humbly a gay church.
Because no one's experience of living or loving can be comprehensive.
Because each of us holds clues the others need about how to live with dignity and joy.
And none of us knows enough about that yet to be considered whole.
I will not speak of tolerance with its courteous clenched teeth and bitter resignation.
I can only look in laughing wonder at human life in all its incarnations.
I know that on some sad and disappointing days, These words describe the church that shall be and not the church that is.
But I know too that to answer is an act of creation.
To answer this question is a privilege, a prophetic imperative, a joy, a duty, and a holy sacrament.
Please join us in our opening hymn. You can sing along. The words will be on the screen. It is The Fire of Commitment.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gate is gained. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Psych. Everybody gets 5 points if you realize that wasn't Fire of Commitment. Same author. Very good song. Hope you enjoyed singing along. If you have a chalice at home and want to light it along with me, I invite you to get it out now. And I will lead us in saying our covenant, which is in the chat box. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Well, hi, everybody. I am here with this morning's Wonder Bag. And this morning in my bag, I have, out of the way, a little tiny fairy bridge, which is going to live in our little tiny fairy garden at church this afternoon. But for now, I have a bridge because a bridge usually connects two different places that otherwise might not be connected or might be hard to go between, like two sides of a river or a very deep canyon or an island and a mainland. And in Unitarian Universalism, we use bridging, or the idea of a bridge, to refer to the way that we hope that young people will connect two different life stages. And in our particular context, we talk about it as connecting on one side, high school youth, and on the other side, young adulthood. Learning and growing in your independence, though from the place that many of you have grown up, to more independence than perhaps you've ever had before, perhaps living away from home for the first time. And we use the metaphor of a bridge to convey our hopes that we will stay connected and that young people will stay connected to us, to their faith, your faith community, to the home of your childhood and your youth, and to acknowledge that as you move to the next phase of your life, your spirit and your faith will still need tending, and that Unitarian Universalism will be here for you too on the other side of this transition. So today we have what we call a bridging ceremony with 10 high school seniors who have graduated from high school this week. And we honor these 10 seniors: Emma Paul, Aoife Collier-Clark, Andy Meeker, Arwen Gormley, James Walker, Rosa Stalzer, Theo Bussinger, Elliot Wessner, and Daniel Bartlett and Caroline Frawley. And we invite you, if you're here, to come close to your screen. We're not going to spotlight you, but we are going to have some words for you to say, as well as your parents. And we celebrate this ritual not as a farewell, but as a recognition of your full blossoming adulthood. And to help us honor and bless our high school seniors, I invite tech wizard and youth ministry coordinator India Wood to help me offer this blessing.
My friends, you are at a threshold moment, an ending and a beginning. We know that this is a moment that can be filled with so many emotions: excitement, worry, curiosity, sadness, anticipation. And we know this year, your senior year especially, held a great deal of uncertainty in the face of pandemic. Today, we honor all of those feelings you bring to this moment of change in your life. We know that relationships in your life may be changing rapidly. You are moving into fuller adulthood. Your parents are learning to parent in new ways, and you are learning new ways of being a more independent adult.
We want you to know that as your religious home, we acknowledge how important this moment is and the changes that it brings, and how valued you are as a part of this faith community. And so with that in mind, just as we ask families and our congregation to make promises to young people at baby dedications and at your coming of age ceremonies, I'd like to ask your families and the congregation to affirm our support for you again in this moment, because in different parts of our lives, we need different promises from our faith community. So to the parents of our young people, you have watched your young adult children grow. You have shown them to be kind and brave and generous, to seek to be faithful to their highest ideals. You have sought to teach them the principles of your life and your faith. And now we mark their blossoming independence as they face new challenges and new opportunities. Do you promise today to rejoice in who your children are now and who they are becoming? Do you promise to support their growing ability to make their own choices? Do you promise to help them, sometimes when asked and sometimes when needed, to support their growing independence? Do you promise to love and care for them as always, but now also as another adult? And do you give them your love and blessings as they mark this moment on their journey? If so, please say, I do. And now we ask a representative from our congregation, Dara Bryans, to read the blessing pledge from the congregation.
Sorry, I don't see the pledge in the worship script. I was assuming it was going to be a slide.
I got it. I'll do it.
Okay, Nathan does it.
Hey, seniors, this is just how the year's been, isn't it? Seniors, you have grown up in this church. I cannot believe there are 10 of you. It's just like to see all of you having known you for so long.
Coming of age was like last week.
I know. So seniors, you have grown up in this wonderful church and our religious education classes and in senior youth group, and you call this faith your home. So on behalf of the senior youth group, which I am, I guess I get to speak for the senior youth group, on behalf of the senior youth group, I ask of our congregation, do you promise to always welcome these young adults into this space with open arms and continue to embrace them as a part of this faith community? And do you promise to support and uphold them, encouraging, engaging, and enjoying them? And will you seek to support their families as well as they mark a major transition? And finally, do you promise to find ways to support these young adults and other young adults who seek to find a home in our faith as they deepen their faith and their commitments? If so, everybody, please say, we do. We do.
Yeah.
And finally,
They say things like, you better come back and visit us.
Better come back and visit us.
and finally, our young adults. Will you visit us virtually and in person when you're able to? Hopefully always in person from now on. Will you seek to live the principles of your family and of our faith as you make more choices in the world? And will you remember that however far you go, you are loved and there is a place for you here at UAC, in our faith and in our hearts? If so, please say we will.
And finally, we have 2 gifts for each of you as you embark on this next stage in your life. And if you are at the Flower Communion gathering this afternoon and the senior youth group gathering this afternoon, which will be taking place right after the flower gathering, we will have them for you there. And if you're unable to go, we'll be mailing them to you. So first we have this book called Becoming, which is a collection of readings and meditations on adulthood. And secondly, we have a small chalice with an electric tea light for whatever regulations of the places you might or may not be next, with an electric tea light. And it's a reminder that each person, including yourself, has a divine spark inside of them. And we give this to you in trust and in hope that you will find ways to bring that divine spark to the world wherever you go. Emma, Aoife, Arwen, Andy, James, Rosa, Theo, Elliot, Daniel, Caroline. Today we bless you as you bridge from youth to young adulthood. And we give you our love and our support and our open arms and open hearts today and in all the days to come. Congratulations.
Congratulations, seniors. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, India. So friends, here in this moment, as we mark.
Hang on, Nathan. We gotta show their pictures.
Oh, of course we are.
We got great
We are.
pictures of all of these young people.
Thank you.
I know I kind of wrapped it up.
That was great. So friends, let us together settle, find ourselves in ourselves here in the season of changes and new beginnings and departures and endings, and the opening of summer and the opening of so much more. And as we find our center, let us sing together or just listen to our prayer hymn that so many of us love and know so well, Spirit of Life, and Sarah will sing.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Rose, hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
So as we look out over our candle flame into our beautiful sanctuary, we invite our prayers for loved ones and for the world and our thanksgivings. And we begin with our prayers for loved ones. Please put them in the chat box. For Jameson, our beta fish who passed away this week, Tara. For my mom continuing to struggle with complications after a recent surgery. For brother Tom, for a CAR T this week. For my mom who's recovering after having a pacemaker put in on Friday. For all the graduating seniors. For Zoe on her journey, and for Jackson, and for Kelly. For beautiful Colleen, deepening her faith commitment. For Micah, our kitty who is struggling with renal failure. For my brother and father who need healing. For Gail who began chemo. For my brother who continues to improve after his accident. For a colleague Roy who died this last week, and his wife and his family. For our dear friend. For Oaks at his internship in California. Let us also include our prayers for the world as these continue to come in. So for Carl fearing his diagnosis this week, for neighbors whose husband and father is suffering from COVID in the ICU, for Olive's 7th birthday today, out into the world for the shooting victims and their families, most recently in Chicago and Austin. For Peter and caring for my mother, for Rick in the hospital, and for all those still battling COVID. Friends, these are all prayers close at home and further away. And last but not least, let's also add our thanksgivings as these continue to come in. For my nephew for a successful knee surgery. I offer my own gratitude for the internship committee who have supported Emily and all the interns before her. For this beloved community, I love you all, says Emily. For airplanes that brought Grammy for a visit, for beautiful weather, for the class of 2021, for every single breath, for UUAC all year and always, for friends and friends and friends and friends and friends and butterflies and dragons and lightning bugs. All of these and so many more. Let us be held together here in prayer. Spirit of life and love and June days. Our prayer today is for all that blooms in our living, all that promises, all that unfolds, all that brings beauty. Be it a new relationship, a new beginning, a new job, a new school year, a new outfit besides pajamas. New opportunities, a new day. God of life and love, there are always ways to start over. There are always ways to begin to bloom. Give us the capacity, the vision, the support, and the second chances that each one of us here this morning need in all the ways that we live and love and seek to bless. Let us be held here in stillness together in this one moment and feel our breath and our heart.
This month, as we celebrate Pride, I am reminded that Pride started with two trans women of color, Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson, when they resisted the brutal police repression of the Stonewall Inn in 1969, igniting a revolution that has become today's Pride, a protest and a party all at once. And it is with deep gratitude for the trans community and their leadership in making our movements wider and more inclusive for everyone that I am excited to introduce the Trans Lifeline as this morning's offering. Trans Lifeline is a grassroots hotline and microgrants nonprofit organization offering direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis. It is for the trans community and by the trans community. I invite you to give generously as you are able. We are collecting, as always, we are collecting our offering through Realm. There is a link in your chat box, and you can sign in as a member or a guest and designate whether you want your offering to go to your annual donation or to the special collection. And if you're making an offering for the Trans Lifeline this morning, choose special collection. We invite you to give generously, and please enjoy our beautiful music, The Road Home, which we sung on the very first week that Emily was with us, and are excited to share again this week.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, choir. Okay. I'm going to do my best to get it together because I could not make it through that song without crying. Okay. Actually, Heather, the choir sang that the first Sunday I preached, which was the end of September. Anyone who was there, I'm sure, remembers the woodchuck story. I think I will go down in history, a little bit of history with that sermon. Still one of the most favorite sermons I've ever preached. So I knew I wanted, weeks ago, before I even decided what this service was going to be about or anything else, I asked Sarah to have the choir sing that anthem again. It's just so beautiful. So good morning, everyone, on this beautiful Flower Communion Sunday. I am full of all the feels this morning, as you clearly can see, but especially gratitude. I'm grateful to be here with all of you. I'm actually grateful to get to do church one more time in the building because I am in the FOS room right now. I'm not in the pulpit, but that's okay. I'm in the building, which feels like a great way to end things for me to be here, back here today. I'm grateful for this beautiful stole that you all gave me. You may not have seen it on the ordination because I was sitting further away, but just take a second to look. And what a great stole for Flower Communion too. I mean, this is perfect. So Gage and Kathy get all the credit for designing this beautiful, beautiful stole on all of your behalf. So thank you. And most of all, I'm obviously grateful for these last 2 years being your ministerial intern. These amazing, wondrous, challenging, sometimes bizarre 2 years, especially in a global pandemic, but they have shaped my ministry in some ways that I can grasp so clearly right now, and also in ways that I don't think I've even begun to understand. And time will tell how these learnings unfold in me and in the days and years to come. I'm grateful to take all of these experiences with me to my next congregation. And for those of you who haven't heard yet, I do have a next congregation. I'm very happy to announce, if this is news to you, that starting August 1st, I will be the minister for the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Kingston, Massachusetts. And for those of you who are reaching for Google Maps right now, Kingston is on the South Shore, just north of Plymouth and just south of Duxbury. I'm excited and I'm nervous, and I will be keeping Reverend Heather and Reverend Nathan on speed dial as I begin this new ministry in August. So since the pandemic began, as you know, we've spent most of the last 15 months apart, only connecting digitally through screens and Zoom and phone calls and the occasional in-person visit. So for me, this year's Flower Communion feels much more sacred than it ever has before. I mean, Flower Communion was founded as a means of binding a church community together, and never have we needed to feel more connected than right now. As some of you know, Flower Communion was devised in 1923 by a Unitarian minister in Czechoslovakia named Norbert Čapek. Reverend Čapek wanted his congregation to feel like they had shared something beautiful and special. So he invited them all to bring a flower to church one Sunday. And in the service, the flowers were blessed, and then each person took a different flower home than the one they had brought. A symbol of the beauty to be found in community filled with diversity and love. It was a smashing success. Everybody loved it, and they continued this ritual for years. In 1940, when the Nazis took control of Prague, they found Reverend Čapek's writings about the inherent worth and dignity of all beings and the unique beauty and love to be found in diversity. And they determined, and this is a quote I found in historical documents, they determined that he was, quote, too dangerous to the Reich to be allowed to live. So they arrested him and they sent him to Dachau concentration camp, where he later died a cruel death. But that's very sad, I know. But his message of beauty and worth, inherent worth and dignity and unique gifts live on, because his wife, Maya, later came to the US and she brought the flower communion ritual with her. And it was first celebrated right down the road at First Parish in Cambridge. And ever since, it has been a part of our faith community. It's been the way we mark the end of our church year with a celebration of color and beauty and belonging. And for me, this ritual also serves as a reminder that in the midst of difficult times, like this past year, for example, that we each have gifts to offer each other. And almost more importantly, we each are in need of the gifts that our community can offer to us. Flower communion teaches us that we each have the potential to bring love and light to our broken world. Now, today we're doing this on Zoom, of course, so we're unable to fully carry out Reverend Chopek's ritual. I hope many of you will come by the church this afternoon, bringing a flower and taking home a different flower as a symbol of the gifts that you each bring and the gifts that you each accept from this community that we love so much. And if you can't make it, we know your heart and your spirit will be with us. And as I prepare myself to say goodbye to this amazing congregation that I love so much, I want you to know that the work that we have done and the love that we have shared does not end today. It does not actually end ever, because I am the minister I am because I have been your minister. And it has been the most incredible privilege of my life. See, we have, deep breaths, we have planted a garden together, you and me. Each conversation, each laugh, each sermon, each board meeting, each committee meeting, each prayer, all of that has nurtured it and helped it grow. And this garden of ours is bountiful and beautiful, and it extends far beyond the walls of this building. It will extend to Kingston, where I go next, just like it extends to Wayland, where Reverend Stephanie is, and to Malden, where Reverend Otto is. It has been planted where Jessica is, and Laura and Kate. You're about to start a whole new section of this garden with Jason when he joins you in the fall. It will continue to grow and thrive in so many directions. Needless to say, this garden is huge and it's only getting bigger. And it is so beautiful. Because as a teaching congregation, you are not just here for each other. You are here for our entire Unitarian Universalist faith. You have taken upon yourselves the responsibility of ensuring the future of this faith by supporting and loving ministers into being over and over and over again. You all showed me what it meant to belong to a beloved community. You explained why it's so important to show up and to tell the truth in love. You taught me, and you will continue to teach future ministers, the important lessons of compassion and justice, the lessons of beauty, and most importantly, joy. So as I step away from this congregation today, I take all of you with me, your support, your compassion, your humor, and most of all, your love. Because we have planted a beautiful garden together, you and me. And just watch it grow. Watch it grow. May it be so. Farewell, friends, and amen. Reverend Nathan and Reverend Heather will now lead us in a blessing and release ritual.
Thanks so much, Emily. Let's see, and India's going to add Heather here to our spotlight. So everybody, we're going to do one more blessing here through the Zoom, the screens, and again, if you're able to come in person, we can do that too. So the life of our religious community is fluid. It's always changing with new lives and new life and new visions and new possibilities and new ministries. And 2 years ago, we welcomed our ministerial intern, Emily Bruce, into our family. We had no idea what was coming. Oh my goodness. Our time together certainly unfolded differently than we ever expected or wanted. And Emily, you have traveled faithfully with us every step of the way, every login of the way, every text of the way through all these challenges. And also creativity and vibrancy and connection, despite it all, honestly. You have grown and changed as your ministry has changed with us. And today is time to say farewell, but you're going to remain in our hearts, of course, and, just close by too. So, all right, Emily, you're up.
Thank you, Nathan. So to all of you members and friends of UUAC, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm deeply grateful to have been your ministerial intern for these past 2 years. For here, I have grown from a student to a minister, and I will carry your love, your humor, and your passion with me to Kingston and beyond. And I leave a piece of my heart, as well as all of my blessings, here with you.
And we now take a moment to honor the members of Emily's internship committee, Nat Vaughn, who chairs the committee, Gage Heath, Kathy Healy, Margot Kaltofen, Ben Lane, Emily Young, Linda Crawford, and Jeff Brown. This congregation offers its deep gratitude to all of you for mentoring and loving Emily into ministry. We placed you in a sacred trust to guide her these past 2 years, and your work with her and for her will serve her well in her ministries to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the internship committee. And to all members and friends of UUAC, do you now release Emily from her role as ministerial intern? If so, remaining muted, please say, I do. And do you, Emily, release UUAC from the role of being your teaching congregation, as we have fully and well supported your preparation for ordained ministry?
With love, I do.
I was kind of wondering what you were going to say.
Hell no, I'm not leaving. Sorry, Jason.
All right, everybody, let's put our hands up. You can put it on the screen or the keyboard or whatever. We're going to do a final blessing here. So join me in blessing Emily. Spirit of life and love, we bless Reverend Emily Bruce as she leaves this place and begins her ministry in Kingston. We send our love and our care with her as she plants new seeds to grow and to flourish. Emily, may your ministry always be graced by deep learning, the joy of connection, and loving service to our faith and to the world. The blessings of this congregation are going to go with you, behind you, around you, and we will continue to do justice and love, kindness in all the days to come. May it be so, and amen and amen and amen. And I'm going to see you like in a half an hour, as many other will. All right, everybody.
Love you, Emily.
Love you, Emily. Our closing hymn is Where You Go. We're going to hear that and sing that. And then Emily, don't leave yet. It's going to give our call to ministry and our benediction.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. divine. Where you go, I will go, neighbor. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, neighbor. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, neighbor. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, neighbor. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
Friends, please join me in saying our call to ministry. The words will be in the chat box. We go forth into the world in peace to act with works of love, to affirm each person's dignity, and to cherish the living earth. A quick reminder before the benediction, today, 12:30 to 2 o'clock on the church lawn, bring your own food, bring your own chair, bring your mask, ask people before you hug them, and wear the mask if you're close, and come bring a flower. Am I forgetting anything else? Bring a flower, take a flower, come say goodbye to me if you can. I'll be here, and I hope to see you all. And finally, friends, goodbye for now. My prayers and my love will be with you always, and I will see you all in the garden very soon. Blessed be and amen. Go in peace.
Thanks, everybody. No coffee hour. Woohoo. Maybe see you in person. Bathroom.